can do anything you want. I ain't got no problem with it. I promise you that shit.
Listen to the words. He. Garbage. A joke. Clown acts. Pisses me off. No. Come find me. No. No. Come find me. Listen to the words. Come find me. Garbage. A joke. Clown acts. Pisses me off.
I ain't a hard guy to find. I promise you that shit.
Listen to the words. Garbage. A joke. Clown acts. Pisses me off. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Thursday afternoon, high noon, live NBR, brought to you by thegramcode.com. NBR, Nothing But Rants, the show where we bring you topics that we're oddly passionate about and we pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. I'm hot about that YouTube comment section already popping off with some heat. I hear you right now. Hey man, the intro has been very touch and go. It's been a hot subject, a hot topic amongst the YouTube subscribers, man. I love it. I love that it's, riveting. It's enough to get you up in the comments talking about it and defining and labeling yourself as a pro intro or a non-pro intro guy or gal. I appreciate you guys. I mean, it's okay to have differences in this world, particularly on this here platform. We're all good with that. I personally, I'm going to relinquish my biases here. I am a major fan of the intro to the YouTube show, and I'm glad to see that there are, both sides of both corners there. But we got a loaded show for you guys today. No opening rant, if you will. Nothing I'm super hot about lately. I mean, most of the time it's dumb people in my YouTube mentions. Sometimes we're just cool. Sometimes we just come in here. We want to talk some Georgia football, particularly on the second NBR this week. How about that? 2 NBRs this week on the YouTube channel. Glad to be here with all of you guys. I haven't been doing a bunch of film study lately because A, there's not a bunch of new film. B, we got a bunch of summer film stuff to hit this summer when there's another dead time period, but primarily because, dude, if you're not over on Patreon right now, you don't know what I'm about to tell you, but trust me, they're getting a boatload of content. This morning, 3 Nugs on 3 different premier prospects, including Labius Overton over there, and a top corner in the 2023 class. Practice notes the other day were almost 650 words long. I think they covered 9 position groups. And I didn't count up the number of players that were in there, but I think it was north of 20. So there is a bunch of information, a bunch of content, a bunch of stuff going on over there at patreon.com/Brooks Austin. So the link's in the bio. If you want to hit it up over there. Film has been few and far between, and it'll be like that before the end of spring practice. And then we'll dive into a bunch of end of post-spring film stuff with G-Day and all that good stuff. But got a loaded show for you today. Speaking of G-Day, we're going to give you the early buzz from spring practice. We will also tell you how I believe Georgia will look nothing like whatever they look like this spring, whatever you hear, whatever you see on G-Day, whatever you hear from scrimmage days, okay? They're going to look nothing like that this fall, and I'll tell you exactly why. We're going to lay out some of the impact some of these new coaches have made, and as you can tell by the photograph for today's show, we're going to play a little something we call No Strabizes, okay? We're going to debut a new segment here today where I forecast and predict the future of what college football is going to look like, the immediate future, okay? Here now, right now, the stuff that we'll be hearing about in 6, 7, 8 months about how it's changed the landscape of college football. The tea leaves have been there. So excited to bring you that. But let's talk a little bit about the good old spring practice buzz. Now, what we're not going to do today, as I try to line up my microphone, see, both these cameras are kind of on different angles. What we're not going to do today is unleash all of the spring nugs that we gave you, okay? Like I said, it's been exorbitant, the amount of information we've been giving out over on patreon.com/Brooks Austin. So we're just going to kind of tease and please today, if you will, when it comes to these spring practice nugs. Just kind of some things that have stood out over and over and over again through a variety of different posts on practice notes, okay? So one of those being a lot of the talks about Arik Gilbert. Now, what I think is very, very important is that we I think if there's anything that I've learned through doing this stuff and having customer bases and things like this is to properly manage and set expectations. So when it comes to Arik Gilbert, I'm going to do my best throughout the summer, throughout, his time, not necessarily his time, but throughout all athletes' time to temper and manage expectations accordingly. What most people thought when you're getting Arik Gilbert at the University of Georgia was immediately Gatorade Player of the Year. He was framed as an exposition player. He was coming in to basically replace George Pickens, right? That was the narrative. That was the expectation last June. When he arrived on campus, everyone was raving about how Georgia's got this new wide receiver named Arik Gilbert. Okay, there's a major time lapse, right, between July of 2021, June of 2021, and here we are, March, okay, almost April of 2022. In that time span, things have changed. Expectations have changed. So here we are to set them, okay? Since January, when he returned to the team, I'm going to tell you, they knew he was playing tight end. They knew he was playing Y, okay, for a variety of different reasons, but that's where they were training him. There's no cross-training like there was originally in July of a year ago, right? Where he's kind of working both, doing a little bit of slot, doing what Brock Bowers did all year last year, right? Playing a little slot, playing a little X, playing a little Y, playing a little H, just doing it all. He's a very versatile human being, a very versatile athlete, same as Arik Gilbert. Eventually, I think that's going to be the case. But while we manage expectations, while we pay attention to what's happening during the spring, this spring, right now, understand that it is tight end. Understand that that's where it's going to be for now. And it's going to be a slow burn. Okay. It's not going to be boom. There's Gatorade Player of the Year again, 950 yards. Temper expectations. If that's what you're expecting out of Arik Gilbert this year, I think you're doing the young man a disservice. Let's let him smooth back in to what it is that he's going to be doing. And eventually, I do believe that we're going to see that 6'4.5", 240-ish pound freak of nature running with the ball after the catch. Okay. But it's going to be a little bit, if you will. All right. On to our next one. Okay. On to our next little spring practice buzz. I've got a multitude of chats going on right now. I got chats over here in the Discord. I got chats on the YouTube channel, Twitter notifications flying off the bat over there. And I'm a person who naturally has ADHD bad. I mean, I got it bad. So this is not really coherent for me. We need to figure out how to streamline this. Maybe we need somebody over here that's just paying attention to everything. So if and when there is something going wrong with the thing, we all know. AD Mitchell, folks, another little spring practice note for you. Let me tell you a little something about how sources work when it comes to closed practices at Georgia. You can talk to 15, 20 different people. You're going to get bite-sized like things that they kind of remember during practice. And when it comes to specifically positions like wide receiver or even corner, or positions like this that are outer on the edges, right? You're only going to hear really about certain things when they happen like over and over again. Or like, for example, a guy catching 15 of the 25 available balls during team period, that's noticeable. Or a guy that's going out and making every crazy catch, every one-handed catch, every sideline wow, every dunk on moment, right? Every one-on-one, dear God, he put that guy on the ground. When one guy at one of those positions, wide receiver or corner, is doing that, you're going to hear a lot about that one specific player. AD Mitchell's been that player through, what do they got, 4 or 5 practices so far right now? 4 or 5 practices right now. And it's been nothing but the AD Mitchell show through all the sourcing. So you got yourself a superstar there. I just wonder throughout the rest of the spring, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, who's going to emerge, because there's plenty of opportunity for wide receivers right now in Georgia during spring practice. Who's going to emerge as the Robin to the Batman? Because you found the Batman. AD Mitchell, guys, towards the end of the year, you started noticing them notice it, started giving him more opportunities, started playing him a lot more. Superstar. Gonna be really, really good this year for the University of Georgia. Excited to see it, man. We spent so long and through a variety of injuries and other things, a COVID-shortened season, quarterback questions for a good minute. During George Pickens' career, We thought every single year, I particularly thought every single year, this is going to be the one. Terrence Edwards move over. Like, you're going to have another one in that club. Nope. This is going to be the guy. I think this is going to be the guy. It's either going to be him or it's going to be most likely Brock Bowers, I would imagine. But to be a wide receiver at Georgia and do it's completely different. To do it, period, at Georgia right now, it hasn't happened since 2001, right? 2001, something like that, with Terrence Edwards. So A.D. Mitchell going to be a star. That has easily trickled out through spring practice. Some more stuff for you. And I'm not going to give you the full freshman report because I told you the full freshman report is over there on Patreon. But I'm going to give you two names. And I'm not going to tell you exactly what they're doing or what exactly is going on, but just two names like A.D. Mitchell's that continue to pop up. Mykel Williams, you already know, been okay, watch out. This guy's going to play early since, for me, when I went out there and watched him in San Antonio in the Adidas All-American game, when you see guys when you go out there, it's like top 100 versus top 100 every rep you see. High school players, albeit, but it looked like top 100 or top 10 versus like top 300, top 350 every time Mykel took a rep. There was one player out there that looked better than everyone else across all positions. It was him. For me, that was like, this is an SEC body. This is an SEC dude. This is a guy that can come in right now as a freshman and play. Then he gets to campus, and during kind of bowl practices leading up to the national championship game, there was some learning. There's still some learning. Kirby came out yesterday and tempered expectations for him. That's by design. I promise you right now, Mykel Williams will be on the field this fall, and he's going to play a lot. He's going to do a lot of impressive stuff. I truly believe that, truly stand by that, because, yeah, Trayvon Walker had a Malik Herring to sit behind. Yeah, Nolan Smith had an Azeez Ojulari to sit behind. You think Tramel – I love Tramel Walthour as a football player. He's going to play a lot this year. He's going to have to. You think Tramel Walthour is keeping Mykel Williams off the field for a majority of the snaps? I don't know. Come mid-October, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't. There's going to be plenty of opportunities. If you go look at that schedule, there's going to be plenty of opportunities for young football players to get onto the field and earn reps and earn stripes next year. Mykel Williams is going to be one of them dudes, and it's playing out right now in spring practice. An exciting young football player to watch, as is Jalen Walker, linebacker out of North Carolina. This is a guy. It's as simple as can be. This is a guy. I've told the Patreon audience through film study, there's been, I think, a revelation, and it was forced upon them. I think Georgia's had a revelation at the linebacker and outside linebacker position. We're going to talk about one of them here in a minute when we talk about these coaches. But with the inside linebacker position, I think when Adam Anderson, when what happened with him, and they got pulled their only speed rusher and their only real threat outside as an edge rusher, they lost that additional outside backer that they trusted on the field. So what it ended up forcing their hand to do was, at Tennessee, they thought, well, Nakobe's leading us in sacks right now and has really developed some hand fighting skills. We'll walk him up when we need to, and we'll let him rush. By midway through the game, they're like, I don't know, struggling with Link against tackles. So they threw Quay Walker out there. Quay Walker got a quarter at it. And it was like, yeah, I mean, he's got the link, but don't have the moves. And then they were like, Morpheus, Channing Tindall, put him out there. 6'2 and a quarter, real long arms, twitchy, burst, got some bend, boom, 2.5 sacks later against Tennessee. They're like, oh, we found something. So later on in the season, you start seeing Georgia play 3 inside backers and 1 edge rusher. Started playing Nolan Smith, Devontae Wyatt, Jalen Carter, Quay Walker out on the edge, and then the 2 backers, Nakobe and Channing. And they start doing this and start running this unit on 3rd longs, right? Running this unit over and over again. And they start plugging Channing and rushing Quay and dropping Nakobe and doing a variety of this, and only rushing 4 and keeping 3 of their best football players, Channing Tindall, Quay Walker, Nakobe Dean, on the field. It has been their best position. They are LBU. They are not DTU, D-tackle U, not yet. They might be one day. They are LBU, right? So they found this through a necessity, through a need to do it. And now all of a sudden you start seeing them recruiting. They're going to recruit a lot of Jalen Walkers moving forward. I promise you. Now, you may not find the character that is Jalen Walker every single time, the mind that is Jalen Walker every single time, but you best find a 6'3", 240-pound off-ball linebacker that we don't know what to do with, because Georgia will do everything with them. Georgia will play a guy like Jalen Walker at inside backer. They will play a guy like Jalen Walker in space. They will play a guy like Jalen Walker on the edge and rush him. Star on your midst, or in your midst, at the University of Georgia there. Where are we at? Oh, another topic for you here. I told you to start the show, right? To start the show. Georgia's going to look completely different this fall than they are this spring, okay? It's not even going to look like the same football team. You're not going to see a ton of it this spring. Even when Kirby let the media in for a magical 20 minutes the other day, he did not allow them to take photos or videos. You're not going to see this football team until G-Day. That's it. And you'll get what they want you to see out of this football team come G-Day. But I can tell you right now that this is a 12 personnel football team. Look at how they've recruited the tight end position. Look at how they play. Towards the end of the football season last year, they were a 13 personnel football team. 1 back, 3 tight ends, Fitzy, Washington, Bowers on the field a majority of the possessions. You go look at his days in Tampa, that being Todd Monken. When Cameron Brayton and O.J. Howard were healthy, they led the NFL in 12 personnel. They did. This is a tight end heavy offensive coordinator if the talent is provided. That's how he takes his shots. Takes his shots off heavy rides, right? Likes to get into bunch formations and force zones so he can attack zones, things like that. That's all conducive to tight end nature. However, right now, Georgia's got 3 scholarship available tight ends available right now in practice. Brock Bowers not here for the spring, won't be here for the spring. Darnell Washington not here for the spring, won't be here for the spring. You barely have enough to run 11 personnel right now through 3 deep, which is what you need. Spring practice is about getting evaluative measurements on everybody on your roster. So you go 1s, 2s, 3s. And if you can, you get a 4th, okay? And the 1s take a rep, right? And the 2s take a rep, and the 3s and the 4s. Now, granted, the 1s and the 2s get the most of the reps. We all know big dogs eat, right? But as you're evaluating 3s and 4s, you're trying to, run a similar offense so you have a similar comparative point, right? Well, Georgia's a 12 personnel football team come fall. I promise you. If and when Darnell Washington gets healthy, Brock Bowers is back. Oscar Delp's now a grown man because he's been spent 6 months getting beat up on in spring practice like this, taking all the reps. You got Arik Gilbert as well. Those are 4 SEC caliber tight ends. You're going to be at least a 12 personnel football team next year. But right now, you can't be. So right now, the spring is about 3 things for me. Okay, 3 things for me. 1, who is offensively, by the way, who is Eddie Mitchell's co-star? Who's going to be the guy that stands next to 5 next year and threatens defenses so defenses don't have the opportunity to shift coverage over A.D. Mitchell? And the answer cannot be Brock Bowers, because teams will high-low him, and it won't even look like a double team, but it will be. They'll put a safety over the top of him. They'll slide a linebacker up underneath them, and they will high-low him all day. They'll just take a run defender out of the box, basically, to stop Bowers, and then they can still double A.D. Mitchell, and someone's now got to go win a one-on-one somewhere. Who's going to be that guy? That's an answer for me this spring. Wide receivers, opportunity galore. We're going to be in 11s, most of the time 10 personnel, because guys got to get a breather. We're going to be in 11 personnel, which means 3 wide receivers on the field at all times every time we throw the ball this spring. Go make plays. Somebody go make plays this spring. That's number 1 for me. Number 2 for me is Arik Gilbert and Oscar Delp got a lot of football to catch up on. Oscar Delp's got a transition from high school Forsyth County football in Northeast Atlanta to the SEC. He's going through them growing pains right now, okay? Arik Gilbert hadn't played football since October of 2021. It's a transition period that he's got going on. These dudes are going to get their licks this spring. They are going to get their licks this spring, and that's good. That's healthy for the program. That's healthy for these guys. They need that. They need to catch up on all the reps they possibly can. That's great. Let them get their licks in. That's number 2 for me. And number 3, and perhaps might be the most important one, okay? And I'm going to try to put as much code in here as I possibly can without giving you the real, because the real's over on patreon.com/Brooks Austin. You got to do everything in your power if you're Stacey Searles this spring to make sure nothing feels concrete. Nothing. You got Tate Ratledge coming back this fall. You got a 5-star in Amarius Mims that is seeking to get onto the field. Okay, is seeking to get on the field, and you can't crush any idea or hopes of that happening this fall. You cannot. You can't have him in the summer knowing that he's not beating out Warren McClendon. So nothing concrete, which means you rotate everything you can. You get Amarius Mims every first-team rep you possibly can. Okay, same thing for a guy like Devin Willock, because your butt's going to need Devin Willock this fall. I promise you, there's going to be some time, somewhere, where a foot injury occurs. Tate Ratledge, second play of the game in the season. Warren Erickson now has to start 14 games for the University of Georgia. So you need these people around, and you got a new offensive line coach, which means you best not leave spring thinking you got your 5, because 7, 8, and 9 might be gone. And then your 5 is your 5. But once your 5 goes down, you're playing 10 where 6 should have been. Make sense? Nothing's concrete this spring. Not even G-Day. Them suckers are going to be flipping jerseys on the sideline if we got to. Nothing is concrete at the offensive line position this spring. Matter of fact, it's preseason. It's not even preseason. It's pre-war times, okay? It is the drills in the Army before they send you overseas this fall. That is all this is, okay? This is exercises, all right, this spring. Nothing concrete, because if you do, I'm not promising you, but if you do, college football, the nature of college football tells me you're going to lose a bunch of good bodies in that room. You need to lose bodies this spring, but not good ones. So make sure nothing's concrete in those battle positions, even if it is a bit misleading. That's okay. That's okay. I talk to high school coaches all the time. They have 2 dudes playing quarterback, right? But they might be separated by just about 18 months in age, which means they're only separated by 1 class. And if you tell the younger guy that you're starting the older guy immediately, you don't get to keep the younger guy very long. The younger guy just dips. Okay, so you got to keep things open, right? It's open season right now. Whew. Fiery takes here on MBR. Speaking of fiery takes, thegramco.com. Hey, man, know your source when it comes to any Delta 8 CBD products, okay? This stuff, clean cut, good stuff, okay? I'm telling you, the Wake and Bake coffee is my preferred product. Got a good balance of a Delta 8 blend and a strong Colombian brewed coffee, okay? Really good, strong tasting stuff. Shirts are dope. They're dropping those. Somebody in our family here was the 1,000th customer for Gramco. And I'm telling you right now, you got yourself a prize coming your way. Thegramco.com. If you use promo code Brooks25, you will get 25% off all your products over there. Shout out to them gummies. I know they got my boy Jeremiah Calloway nice and loose for his wedding. Not that he's somebody that's out here tense about a bunch of people looking at him, but if you are and you have an event like that and you want a nice mellow tone going into it, Gramco gummies, thegramco.com, promo code Brooks25, save 25% now, today. All right, let's see here. What we got next? We got new coaches impact. We got 2 more segments for you guys. 2 more segments for you guys, including Nostrabizis. I'm excited about Nostrabizis. You know, we got Agent Brooks around here. We got Coach Austin that rolls in here with the finely cumed or the nicely trimmed mustache. Okay, now we got Nostrabizis. Okay, we're gonna sprinkle a little I told us so on college football here in a couple of months from now. But let's talk about these new coaches for now, okay? And again, not going to give you the full-fledged, okay? We're here to tease and please on the YouTube channel, and then you can get the full kit and caboodle over on patreon.com. But anyways, let's talk about some of these coaches, right? Let's start within the order in which they came in, which if you guys can correct me if I'm wrong here, but we had Brian McClendon, hired as a wide receivers coach, then Uzo Diribe, Chidera Uzo Diribe. I think that's how you pronounce that. I know I nailed the last name. We'll work on the first name. You guys know I'm horrible about spelling, but I try my best to pronounce names correctly because those are your names. That's your name. It's important. It's very, very valuable. Fran Brown, hired as a DB's coach, and then they rounded it off with Stacy Searles, okay? Like Earls with an S, Searles, just like it's Arik Gilbert, like he's, as his mom told me, one of the Ricks. Right? He is Arik, not Arik, Okay, Arik. Pronounce it right when you're talking to your friends. All right, let's talk about these coaches. Brian McClendon, right? BMAC as they call him. I call him AKD, which means a known dude. All right. Everywhere this guy goes, known dude. You talk to any wide receivers coach, any wide receivers trainer around here, any of the guys that I talk to, any of the communications and relationships that I've built, whether it be coaches all through the Power 5 level, whether it be trainers here in Atlanta, whether it be quarterback coaches here in Atlanta, whatever it is, you name it, AKD, Brian McClendon, a known dude. And they all speak extremely highly of him. Brian McClendon is going to get the University of Georgia into rooms when it comes to wide receivers that they've never been in before, ever. Just a known dude. People love him. Great recruiter. I truly believe Cortez Hankton is a future head coach. I do. I think everything about him, from appearance to execution to career arc to personality, screams this guy's going to be a head coach sometime, someday. It's going to happen. He's making $900,000 right now as associate head coach at LSU. He's the highest paid wide receivers coach in college football. He's going to be a head coach someday. When it comes to Brian McClendon, I think Brian McClendon, some guys have enough self-awareness to look at themselves and say, I've been an associate head coach. I've called plays. I've been an associate offensive coordinator. I've been an assistant head coach. I've done all of these things, and I never get the op. But I know what I'm great at. What I'm great at is finding wide receivers, developing them, coaching them, turning them into greatness. That's what my bag is. That's what I'm great at in this world. One of Georgia's best position coaches is who? It's Glenn Schumann. Excuse me. It's Glenn Schumann. What does Glenn Schumann do? Glenn Schumann knows what he is. He's an outside backers coach and a great defensive mind. He is going to make a great defensive coordinator. But you know who's not in all these articles about best under 40, soon-to-be head coach names? Dan Lanning was littered all over them. Glenn Schumann is not. Glenn Schumann is not. That's okay. That's the best position coach Georgia's got available. Brian McClendon knows who he is. I think that's true. If you look at his arc, it says this guy knows what he is. He's a damn good wide receivers coach. And he's going to be that for Georgia. Nothing else. He's not going to be a future head coach at Georgia. He's going to be I'm the best wide receivers coach we got. And we're going to ball. That's great for the University of Georgia. And it's great for Brian McClendon because he's going to get paid a lot of money doing so at the University of Georgia. All right, on to Chidera Uzo-Diribe. All right, outside backers coach, right? Was at Kansas, spent some time at SMU. That SMU staff ended up at TCU. Now he's at Georgia. That was all in the last 12 months, 14 months, something like that. It's been a lot. It's been a lot for Uzo-Diribe in the last calendar year, essentially, when it comes to the coaching circuit. And this is a dude, man. Young, okay, vibrant, impactful on the recruiting trail, okay? And this is the guy, in my opinion, the guy to transition Georgia into that physical mold at the outside backer position that they want to be. We wrote an article on Dogs Daily. If you haven't checked it out, okay, it's kind of portraying what this means for Georgia, what it means when Nolan Smith's a great football player. He's going to be one of the most vital and important football players this fall for the University of Georgia on their defense. Going to be a leader, probably a perennial, like a week captain, okay, multi-week captain this year for Georgia. But he's 6'2", 250 pounds, okay? He's 6'2", 250 pounds. Chaz Chambliss, 6'2", 250 pounds. MJ Sherman, 6'2", 250 pounds. Azeez Ojulari, 6'2" and a quarter, 240 pounds. That's what they've been recruiting at that position for a long time. At that jack spot, it's been 6'2" and a quarter, 245 every year. Now go look at the dudes this guy's recruiting, okay? King Joseph Edwards just took an official visit, 6'5", 245, okay? There's a young football player out of Oklahoma, number one player in the state of Oklahoma. Also a shouts to his ties in the Midwest, okay? Number one player in Oklahoma, 6'6", 215, okay? These guys are getting longer at the position, and he specifically is the one, I believe, to flip this over, okay? And why does it matter? Okay, why does it matter that you're recruiting 6'5", 220-pound basketball players named By Job from Oklahoma? Why are you recruiting Caleb Herring, 6'6", 215 pounds? Okay, I found him playing Mike linebacker at the Pylon event in in Emerson, Georgia, a couple weeks ago, where I told you about all them quarterbacks. Dude's an avatar running out in the middle of the football field. How about Gabe Harris out of Valdosta High School, 6'4", 210 pounds, 240 pounds rather. And I told you, King Joseph Edwards, a guy right now that's a dude, okay? A dude that just popped up out of nowhere now is going to end up at Buford this fall, and that's going to be a big boy recruitment. Okay, how about this last class? Michael Williams, 6'5", 245. Marvin Jones, 6'6", 235. Darius Smith, 6'6", 230 pounds, just turned in a 47-second 400-meter. If you don't know what that means, look that up. That's insanity. This is a defensive end doing stuff like this. Okay, and Carlton Madden, 6'4", 240. Guys, wake up. They're getting longer at the position, and this is the dude to do it. And it's great for Georgia because the NFL values length, just like they have found that they need to value length. Do you know why Trayvon Walker was dropping into coverage this year? He's long as hell. He's long as hell. And as he drops back into zone windows and he's 6'5", and his wingspan's the length of a 7-footer, they're like, oh, damn, coach. In practice, Carson Beck's like, coach, I can't throw that ball because that dude's covering like that whole window, right? I'm trying to run a slant off the RPO action, and Buddy's just like, hey, I'm right here. Well, now you can rush that guy because you got another one on the other side, right? That's the goal. That's the mold. That's where they're moving at the University of Georgia. And I love going through these coaching changes like this because what you'll find as you do these exercises is that Georgia, more than any program I find, morphs, okay? They morph every time a new coach comes in because that's what Kirby Smart is about. You will sink or swim at the University of Georgia. You will, as a position coach. He ain't going to help you. He ain't. He is not going to help you. He is going to throw you into the deep end, okay? Provide you with all the resources in the world, and whether or not your unit is successful will determine whether or not you're one of these guys like Dale McGee, who's gotten 7 raises probably since he's been at Georgia. One of these guys like Glenn Schumann that's gotten like 6 raises since he's been at the University of Georgia, or one of these guys that, you know, has to go elsewhere to keep climbing your ladder, okay? That's what will determine how you recruit on the trail, how you decide to do what you want to do with your room, knowing what that room is asked to do within our system. Does that make sense? So every time a new Uzo Duribe comes in, you're going to see the change in players. You are. When BMAC comes in and wipes the entire recruiting board clean and makes his own, you're going to see a different style of football player, a different look, a different vibe of football player, okay? The only position where this does not really apply when it comes to it's your room, do what you want, is the defensive back room, which we're going to talk about next, which is obviously Fran Brown from Rutgers, a great hire. I say that now as someone who's done my research and talked to people now that he's been at Georgia. I'm not going to sit here, like I told you when he got hired, not going to sit here and BS yet. I didn't know. I'm not watching Rutgers football. I'm not reading Rutgers boards. I don't know who this guy was before he showed up at Georgia, and now I definitely do. But here's one thing I'll tell you about Georgia. Georgia didn't need no great defensive backs coach. They don't need no guy out here that's like great with schemes. They don't need no guy that's even great with technique. They don't. They got that. His name's Will Muschamp. His name's Kirby Smart. And they the bosses. They run it. They out there moving around. They do. Glenn Schumann's got DB background, believe it or not. Okay, like all these guys, the decision makers at Georgia, they grew up, like literally made their way into coaching, most of them through the defensive backfield. Kirby Smart in particular, his first ever actual position coaching job is at Valdosta State as a DB's coach in the early thousands. Same thing for Will Muschamp. He was his defensive coordinator at that time. Funny. Kirby Smart got his way into coaching as Will Muschamp's subordinate, and now Will Muschamp staying into coaching as Kirby Smart's subordinate. Kind of long story short there. But they don't need a great defensive backs coach. They don't. They need a great players coach. That's all they need. That room needs to be coddled by the coach because they're getting bitched at by the boss. Okay? Understand something. That room is not micromanages has a negative term, but it's a positive light in this sense. You don't want anyone other than those two guys micromanaging that room when it comes to the defensive back position. Muschamp and Smart, those are two brilliant defensive backs coach. What you need is a guy that can walk in from day one and the players are like, I rock with that dude. I love that guy. I love him. because all day, I promise you, on that microphone at practice, over the loudspeakers, if you track it, I promise you there's no position coached harder at Georgia than the defensive backs room. There's not. So you need a player's coach, right? Same thing on the trail. You need a guy that can recruit, like really, really, really respond and develop relationships, cultivate relationships with young people, because all the deal sealing is going to be done. All the selection for you when it comes to these are the guys that we want, they're probably going to be done for you, particularly at safety. Will Muschamp, Ja'Cory Thomas is at Georgia because Will Muschamp loved him. All those decisions are going to be made for you, right? So just be a player's coach. Okay, be a player's coach and be a guy that your players love and recruits want to come play for. That's why he's a rising star right now. Yeah, he can do all that, all the X's and O's stuff. Obviously, he almost led the Big Ten in interceptions and turnovers for 2 straight years up at Rutgers, okay? But right now, that's not what you need. Right now, what you need is to cultivate and understand how we do this massive recruiting haul. When it comes to Stacey Searles, the offensive line coach and hire, we've done film study on it. We've done portions of the NBR on it. And I've come to this conclusion. And here's what I'll tell you, Georgia fan. Nothing against Stacey Searles. This comment has everything to do with how much I believe in the guy I'm about to talk about than it even does Stacey Searles or even Matt Luke. As long as you keep a guy by the name of Eddie Gordon at the University of Georgia, you're going to be good at the offensive line job. You're going to be good. What you can't have is Eddie. Do your research on Eddie. Okay, he's an offensive line assistant now, analyst now. He was a graduate assistant, on-field graduate assistant at the offensive line position. Now he's an analyst. No different than Buster Faulkner now, okay? And he's really, really good. He's really, really young, and he's going to be a star at the offensive line coaching position. I'm telling you that right now. And as long as Georgia can hold on to him and cultivate him. I thought they might give him the job, but he hadn't had a job before. He had never been a coach before. As long as you keep him somehow, some way, you're going to be okay, because your room's going to stay happy and you're going to be able to recruit. That guy does a bunch of work for the University of Georgia that fans don't know about, that y'all don't get to hear about. But that's what we're here for. That's what we're here to tell you about. Keep Eddie Gordon at the University of Georgia. All good. Okay. All good. Stacey Searles, great hire. 25 years experience, over 25 years. He probably put 30 guys in the league. It's it's not bad. Not a bad hire, but as long as you keep Eddie, you're fine. Okay. I think you're going to be okay. All right, man. Good little show for a noon little fire off right here, right? And I'm assuming everyone's here for our new segment, Nostrabizas, which is, of course, me looking into my magic mirror and telling you what college football is going to look like in a couple of years. But before we do that, did you know that Gramco is actually UGA owned? Yes, that's right. Former graduates of the University of Georgia and fans of the University of Georgia, supporters of the program, are inventors of Gramco. That's what I'm talking about right here. Georgia ties. Not only that, veteran owned. All right. Shout out to Gramco.com. I know we got a mixture of that. It's like when I look into Discord, we got nothing but internet trolls, former service members, and dog fans all there. And, Wheezy. But apart from that, it's like nothing but like real badass military veterans, internet trolls, and dog fans. That's it. That's all we got. It's a great little family over there. And Gramco fits right into that family, except for the trolling part, but definitely veteran owned. So Gramco.com for all of your Delta 8 or CBD needs, including that CBD rub. Had to put it on my knees last night because, boy, I hooped for about an hour and 20 minutes, and my body ain't made to do that no more. Okay, but it was fun. Got some shots up. Lost the last game. That's a sour taste, man. I think we ran six games, was 5-1, hit a couple game winners. It's beside the point. Okay, let's get into Nostrabizas. But yeah, shout out to the Gramco.com. Promo code Brooks25. You will get 25% off. All right. So, Nostrabizas, our segment where we tell you, okay, in 6-7 months, this is what the story's going to be. Okay, this is what the story's going to be. You ready? When I look into my magic mirror, right? When I look up and I say, mirror, mirror on the wall, what does the future of college football look like? It's clear as day to me. The clouds separate. the sky rises. I don't know if it would necessarily be a sky. It's a red sky or a red sun. The sun arises and it's all clear right there on the horizon, right? Monday, I read you an article. It had comments from Drew Rosenhaus, Jimmy Sexton, and 3 other agencies talking about, hey, sports agents are here. We're here. We're this territory that we ain't never been allowed to be in. We're swimming. We're swimming all in it. Okay, we're talking to high school players because NIL's around now, right? NIL's around, which means players are getting money, which means players are signing contracts, which means players need representation, right? Which means Drew Rosenhaus sees an idea, an ability to make money, to capitalize. He's a capitalist, so am I. Jimmy Sexton there too. Oh, there's a bunch of money to be made right here. We got thousands and thousands of college football athletes that are going to open up their doors to 3% cut. Let's go get this money, brother. Okay, so as soon as that happens, that means you got active negotiations. Okay, active negotiations with high school players and NIL collectives, which are really representatives of schools. Wink, wink, we won't talk about it, right? So you got active negotiations going on at the high school level, and Nostradamus is here to tell you right now that that's not stopping at the high school level. Once they get to college, you think active negotiations no longer become active? No. This is one-time free agency. This is one-time deal every single time. And here's why, right? Here's why. The next time a Jermaine Burton at the University of Georgia gets upset or wants to leave or whatever, the next time this happens, you know what's going to happen, right? The agent's going to say, hey, the transfer portal's not our goodbye. The transfer portal's our negotiating leverage. It's our negotiation leverage. Don't just go in there and say, oh, we're done here. No. Go in there, see how many of these NIL offers we can get, see how many people we can get to bid against each other, and then we'll come back to the table in Athens and say, you know, Todd, you know, Kirby, I think you really do need us. And that NIL package that was, you know, X amount of dollars is now Y, because schools A, B, and C want to give me X, Y, and Z. You see what I'm saying? So these active negotiations, this nowadays where you see, transfer portal means a smack on the butt. We'll see you later. You know, very rarely, 99.9% of the kids end up staying in there. They go, they transfer, they leave, right? They change schools. Not for the big ones. Not for Drew Rosenhaus's agent no more, representative no more. I promise you. Not for Jimmy Sexton's. It's not going to be so-and-so's unhappy. You hear about it, portal, oh, he's gone. Now it's going to be, oh, so-and-so's unhappy. We know because he's in the portal and he's actively seeking bids and coming back to us and sitting down and negotiating again. Okay, let me ask you this. Let me just run this by you. Okay, this player left to be unnamed, but we all kind of know, wink, wink, who it is. This player that has been promised and signed this $8 million NIL deal, right? What stops this guy from playing at this school that he just committed to, that we think all dots are connected? This is the one. What stops that guy from going and being a freshman All-American, collecting his $365,000 signing bonus that you just gave him, collecting the first, what's that, $2.25 million of the $8 million you promised him in his first 3 years. Now you're in for $3.5 million. You're in for $3.5 million on an 19-year-old kid that just played one season. He goes 8-5, is a freshman All-American. I mean, tears it the hell up. Everybody's already talking about how good this football player is. Great investment, right? Wrong. Because he goes 8-5, gets pissed off and leaves anyways. Takes his $3.5 million with him. What's stopping him from doing that? And better yet, what's stopping him and his now agent from taking your $3.5 million, entering the portal, demanding another $3.5 million as a signing bonus from another player? Okay, and now our mass accumulation of assets has now reached $7 million in 2 years because we leveraged everything we could. Pay attention. Player mobility means player leverage. That's all it means. When you go to the NFL or the NBA, that's where player mobility was created by a man named LeBron James. Shouts to 2-3. When player mobility was created, guess what else he leveraged? He started doing what? 1-year deals, right? He started doing 1-year deals, which means he gets $40 million from Cleveland and can leverage them next year for another max contract while also threatening to leave the entire time, which creates a whole nother bag of leverage for that young athlete, right? He signs these year-over-year deals and then finally signs a 3-year deal once he gets happy out there in Los Angeles, right? The same thing's going to happen in college football. I'm telling you right now, I'm predicting it. You got kids that will get bags. I mean, NIL contracts. You got kids that will get NIL contracts coming out of high school, okay? Then you will get kids that leverage the NCAA portal to get another NIL deal, okay? They will leverage another deal to get an NIL deal after they leave the portal, okay? Go to a new deal. And then guess what? You think it stops there? No. You think the 5-star safety that has been playing at an all SEC level, that is going to be a 3rd-round draft pick, 4th-round draft pick, 5th-round draft pick, J.R. Reed, you think that guy's not going to leverage it for another 1.2 when he might be a 6th-round draft pick because you, as the SEC football team that is in closing windows on your national title run, is going to be at a more likelihood to pay that money than some 6th-round free agent or free agent deal for J.R. Reed? Yes. That's what the NFL is scared about. That's what I was reading to you on Monday. They are terrified about this, man, because college football players can now make up to who knows how much money. It's only going to escalate before the market resettles itself. And now you got NFL teams that are worried that, I'm not saying J.R. Reed would have done it, but if J.R. Reed existed today, he is not coming back to Georgia for free. He's not. If Najee Harris existed today in NIL money, he is not coming back for free. Alex Leatherwood is not coming back to Alabama for free. Devontae Smith is not coming back to Alabama for free. All these agents are involved now, which means all these players are going to get negotiated higher value, which means you need a capologist, you need a goddamn general manager, which I know is what your director of player personnel is supposed to be, but good luck. That guy has no idea how to balance a budget. He wasn't taught to do that. He was taught to balance 85 scholarships. Guys, this last 20-minute rant is what every college coach in America is fretting right now. They are panicking because they weren't ready for this. They weren't ready for the need to have an NIL collective that apparently needs more than $15 million a year in it because quarterbacks are going for 8. Quarterbacks are going for 8. Whew. It's a lot. It's a lot to figure out moving forward. But that is our show for today as we get all these folks rattling in. If you missed any portion of today's show, it is obviously available for you here on YouTube. But, guys, just hit that subscribe button and hit that little bell over there, and you'll be notified every single time we go live, and you'll never miss a show because I can tend to be a little bit sporadic when it comes to my starting times. Sometimes we're at night. Sometimes we're at noon. It's either going to be at noon or at 9. So noon or 9, you're going to know where we're at. Appreciate you guys for being here. Again, if you missed it, it's available for rewatch. Because I got texted about it, I will download this and upload it to the podcast platform. Search the Film God Network, wherever you catch your podcast, you can hit us. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hit you with the intro on the outro. How about them apples?
Thing you want. I ain't got no problem with it. I promise you that shit.
Listen to the words. Garbage. A joke. Clown acts. Pisses me off. No. Come find me. No. Come find me. Listen to the words. Come find me. Garbage. A joke. Clown acts. Pisses me off.
I ain't hard guy to find. I promise you that shit.
Listen to the words. Garbage. A joke. Clown acts. Pisses me off.